Hello guys, this is Donut's Movies, and today I got a new World of Warcraft lore video. So even though the title is about Highmaul, I'm going to be expanding a little bit because everyone lately has just been asking about Highmaul and just wondering what we are doing in this Ogre city when there is the entire Iron Horde to fight. So I will be addressing the situation, but before that, I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into the history and the background of the Ogres and their influence on the world of Draenor. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Alright, so right off the bat, you should completely forget about the Ogres you knew before Worlds of Draenor as the big, dumb killing machines, as here in the alternate universe, they're completely different, and they're also quite organized, and until recently, for thousands of years on Draenor, the Ogres had just been dominating the world, and many of the races had to bend the knee to them and serve them, or they would be completely obliterated. Now, in a way, they're much like the Mogu from Mists of Pandaria, and their leadership is also quite cruel. They treat everyone that isn't their own quite badly, and they're always looking for more ways to get more dominance over the world of Draenor. But their downfall was coming for quite some time now, and at the current time, we're witnessing it. But of course, it did not happen overnight. They had it coming for a long time now, and I'm gonna tell you what happened. Alright, so these Ogres, even though you think they may be big, so that's why they're ruling, like, they didn't come to rule the world of Draenor just because they were big, because there were much bigger and stronger creatures out there. But what got them to the throne of power was the magic they used, the sort of arcane magic they discovered. And yes, many of the Ogres are dumb, but also many of the Ogres are intelligent, and they found a way to abuse magic and use it to make themselves even stronger than they already are physically. But of course, soon the Draenei, who have been escaping from the Burning Legion for thousands of years now, found the world of Draenor and made it a home of their own, thus making the Ogres not the only ones to practice arcane magic, because you have the Ogres who are practicing it, but it's also quite simple. It's really some sort of basic stuff. But you have the Draenei who were the masters of it, which goes back to their history when they were the Eredar ones. They were actually contacted by the Burning Legion for the exact reasons, because they were the masters of the arcane magic and he saw the potential in them. So the Draenei have just been refining their magic, while the Ogres sort of had the basic understanding of it. And even though there was really no serious conflict between the Draenei and the Ogres, they were now not the only race that was abusing magic on the world of Draenor. Now, another big part, apart from the Draenei, that also contributed to the downfall of the Ogres were the Orcs, who were getting more powerful and rebellious by the day. Now, as you can see from Worlds of Draenor, and also the short animated series Lords of War, the Orcs were treated badly for quite a long time. They were slaves in the mines, they were also slaves in Highmaul in the Gladiator Ring, as you could see from Kargat Bladefist's perspective. But they decided to take no more, as the Warsong clan under the leadership of Grom Hellscream grew stronger and gained the audacity, so they started organizing raids into Ogre settlements, and each time they were just going deeper and deeper into Ogre territory, striking fear into the heart of the Ogre race. Now, even though the Ogres have retaliated later on, the Warsong clan still rebuilt and they caused quite a damage to the Empire. Now, on the other hand, you also have Kargat, who has rebelled together with the rest of the slaves in the middle of Highmaul, which is the center of the Gorian Empire, thus forming the Shattered Hand clan, and he did cause a lot of damage to the current empire. Now, those are the two influential clans. You have the Warsong and the Shattered Hand clan, but the entirety of the Orc clans finally started banding together, and they started just getting powerful shamans as well, thus becoming quite a force on their own, which the empire has of course noticed, and that really wasn't a good thing for them. Now, in the meantime, two things also happened. The Ogres had discovered the ancient artifacts that are suspected to be of Titan origin, which if gathered and used, it would increase their power significantly, so they put their full efforts into that. And on the other hand, as I said, the clans have been bonding for a bit, and the Iron Horde has been formed with the help of Garrosh Hellscream, which was more than a massive threat for the crumbling Gorian Empire. So Imperator Margok, instead of letting his empire fall to ruin, he decides to strike an alliance with the Iron Horde, aiding them in their conquest, which was, when you think about it, a really perfect deal for him, as at the time he wouldn't be destroyed by the Iron Horde, and once he managed to get the power of the ancient artifacts behind their back, he would turn on the Iron Horde, destroy the Iron Horde, rebuild the Empire and rule Draenor once again. So it was a really good plan, but luckily for us and for the rest of Draenor, it failed miserably as he was killed. Earlier what happened is that Shogal had betrayed him, which is one of the Ogres, but allowed for himself to get captured just so he can strike right in the middle of the capital, which explains a lot of the Highmaul raid and the timeline that's happening out there. So I will try to give you the timeline of what happens during the raid so you kinda get a clear picture of what's going on once you enter Highmaul as the raid. Now at the time we're there are 4 factions present. You have the Horde or the Alliance, which are there in order to recover the powerful artifacts, which will later on be used to aid against the chase for Gul'dan and also weaken the Iron Horde, so pretty much you're centered by Khadgar. Then you have the Iron Horde and the Gorian Empire, which are there in order to confirm their alliance, and I forgot to mention the 5th faction, which is Cho'Gall, who was captured earlier after ciphering the Naru powers. And now a lot of people are wondering why is the first boss Karget, because he managed to escape from slavery and he really made something out of nothing, and he was kinda looking like a hero when you watch Lords of War, but now we're just fighting him. And that is a good question. I personally really don't like this part. I really think it's just poor writing and a bad way to get rid of such an epic character. But I'm just gonna tell you what happened. Now in a Grand, there is this first arena where you defeat many opponents while requesting, and then there is this champion that they say you will face in Highmaul, and then we go to Highmaul, we face him, we defeat him easily. Meanwhile, you have Grom and Kargat who are on a visit with the Iron Horde and are spectating the match, as you can actually see from the audience while you're in the raid. Then Kargat decides to just jump into the arena all of a sudden and show everyone who once dominated this exact arena and who is the real champion. And of course we just defeat him, which is, as I said, honestly a bad way to just get rid of an important character. I mean, he's the warlord of Draenor, he isn't just like any other character. So after that, everyone is just in shock. Then Cho'Gall uses this opportunity and breaks out while his army of the Pale Orcs distracts the city as they attack. I will list all the bosses and give you a bit of lore on them, but honestly only the Imperator here is of great relevance and also Karget Bladefist, so I'll try to just give you the information that we have. So the first boss, as I already mentioned, is Karget Bladefist, which I have a few videos on that you can actually find on my channel. Second one is the Butcher, who is really nothing more than just like a monstrous brute that is in Highmaul. I kinda see him as the Hound or the Mountain from the Game of Thrones, but apart from his appearance in Highmaul, he doesn't really have all that much lore or relevance to him. Now the third boss is Brackenspore, who is an aquatic ancient who has woken up from the depths of the waters, mostly due to the Iron Horde presence of their ship and everything out there, and he's really of no relevance to the current events or the timeline or the entire Iron Horde thing. He just happens to wake at the time because of the Iron Horde, and just everything unravels at the exact same moment. Next in the fourth boss is Tectus, who is an Earth Fury or an Earth Elemental, who was enslaved by the Pale Orcs working for Cho'Gall, and there is really not that much lore going for him, apart from him being a very powerful elemental of Earth. Now the fifth boss, or the fifth bosses I guess, are the twin Ogron, Paul and Femos, who are actually the personal guards of the Imperator Margok, and they aren't particularly intelligent or have any sort of like tactical knowledge, but they make it up for their like enormous size and brute force, so they're quite a foe to face in the battlefield, but there is really no relevance related to them. Now the sixth boss is Korag, I guess that's how you pronounce it. As you can tell from his appearance, he doesn't really look like your average ogre. He was actually exposed to the ancient magic artifacts I had mentioned before and was the only ogre to actually survive, and because of that he was left with near complete immunity to all magic. Not really all that much to say about him apart from him looking like the ogre version of Garrosh from Siege of Orgrimmar. Alright, and the seventh and the final boss is Imperator Margok, who is with Khadgar the only character that actually has some lore or relevance in this entire raid. Now he's the mastermind behind the entire thing, and he was the one who decided to strike deal and ally himself with Gromash Hellscream. He also descends from the line of sorcerers in Highmaul and is quite powerful himself. Now in the actual battle when you face him, he is slain by the players, but in the mythic version, before we kill him, Cho'Gall takes the final blow and decides to take on the players, but then Cho'Gall is also slain in the end, which I'm guessing is the canon version in the alternate universe for both of those characters. So that is all I have for this lore video. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to give me your feedback on what you think about this lore lesson and also what you would like to see next. Currently this is a part of a project for daily lore, so most of the future lore lessons are planned, but I still do take suggestions on what you would like to see in the future and what sort of videos, like lore videos, you want to see. So if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, as it really helps out the channel and keeps all these videos going. And thanks a lot for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.